board, so that's cool.
Yep.
It only goes till Friday anyway, so you're not missing much.
Having sniffles
I'm
last
not,
2 weeks.
I'm not gonna miss much.
Nah,
No, what it is.
thank you.
Oh,
I think
this is
so.
for Tom.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, it's money.
Seems like there's something unusual.
Everybody's got the cookies.
Touch that.
Man, those cookies are great. This is, I'm in the line.
I brought chocolate for Kathy, and she's like, no, I got a cookie, I'm good.
Oh, Mayor, you and me? That's right, yeah. I own the prize.
Tell me if I reach for it, he's gonna gavel
No, I
me.
shouldn't,
Already
but
had my
that's
two
not, that's
cookies.
beyond the point.
Hey, I got a weapon, so.
That's right.
But I had 2 cookies that I shouldn't have had.
I didn't say that I should eat it,
Or you don't will.
but, you know.
All right, pass it down then.
To the ground.
No, I don't
Yeah.
want one. Don't want another one.
Go get your phone, buddy.
Let's roll. He's gonna fall asleep. We just kind of sneaked.
Big shoes to fill.
He's such a good dude. I love Carrie. Spin your chair. A few times.
All right, we ready?
Yep.
Sir?
Yes, we're all here. It just
We're all
doesn't seem like it, does it?
Thank you. I know.
I'm going to call the regular city council meeting of the city of Colleyville to order at 7:30 for October the 2nd, 2019. Let me first call the roll. Councilmember Nakamura. Councilmember Nakamura is not here tonight. Mayor Pro Tem Lindemood.
Here.
Councilmember Wheat.
Here.
The mayor is here. Councilmember Dodson.
Here.
Councilmember Kelly.
Here.
And Councilmember Rigney is not here. And so we all knew that neither one of them were going to be here. It's very unusual. And so we'll take care of business ourselves. So we always have the invocation first. So tonight we have the pleasure of Children's Pastor Amy Goebel from Bear Valley Community Church is here to give us our invocation. And her sister Stephanie came. Thank you so much. And then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Amy?
That's awesome. Hey, thank you. Would you pray with me? Father, we invite your presence into this room as we meet. Would you come and be here with us? We thank you for the things that you have given us, for our city, for the amazing things that you have done, and the blessed lives that we live, and we thank you for that. So, Father, right now I ask as this meeting continues, would you give our leaders wisdom and knowledge, the ability to decide what is right? Would you work through them to accomplish your purpose? I pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Well, Pastor, thank you so much for coming and doing that for us. We really do appreciate it. It's a very important part of this meeting. We will go to it. I want to thank everybody first for coming. Appreciate you being here, and I know a lot of people watch this on TV, so we appreciate you watching. I always say this, I want to say it again. We have items on the agenda that we'll take votes on. We'll have readings and public hearings. For all those public hearings, anyone may speak at the public hearing that wishes to. And so there's some cards you can fill out and bring it up here to let us know what you want to speak on. But I will not close a public hearing without asking if everybody has spoken that would like to speak, so as I don't want to miss anyone. So, and with that, we'll move to agenda item number 2. Agenda item number 2 is therefore any action that we may need to take. Thank you. Coming out of executive session, which we just came out of, standard executive session before this meeting. Tonight, we have no action to take, so we do not need to do anything on agenda 2, so we'll move to agenda 3. And agenda 3 is our announcements, proclamations, and recognition. So we always have announcements, and tonight's no different. So I just want to update all the council and everyone that Adrian and I was at the Metroport meeting on September the 19th that is held once a month, and that's a Metroport Cities partnership. It met in Southlake. Laura Miller is chair of that this year, so we had the meeting at the Bark. Normally it's at Trophy Club, and we'll be back at Trophy Club next month. But what they did this time was they had the school superintendents from Grapevine Colleyville Independent School District, Carroll ISD, West ISD and Keller ISD in a panel discussion. So it was a very good meeting. Each of the superintendents were asked questions, and they each ended up talking about their priorities for the school year. I don't have time to go through the details of that. It was just a good engagement. It was interesting that their top two priorities across the board were student emotional well-being, interesting, and school security. And so just want to let you guys know that. We do participate and we'll continue to participate. Thank you.
I got something I would like to say. Thank you to the Colleyville Fire Department for our cool Mac Daddy hats.
Yeah.
Proudly
There we go.
supported. I had the pink on for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And one of these days we'll be, we'll be cool enough to get the lapels or the whatever, what is that?
You have to be qualified to get that. They don't just give those to anybody.
We're not qualified.
We'll go get some at Gibson's, we'll want some of those things, yeah. But thank you, guys, I appreciate you giving those to us. We really appreciate our first responders and also for recognizing breast cancer awareness. So the City Chamber and the SBA present a workshop. The City of Colleyville and the Colleyville Chamber of Commerce have joined with the small businesses of the U.S. administration to offer a series of business education forums. The events will be presented by the U.S. Small Business Administration and will cover a wide range of topics. All events are free, and this is where they can be held, or where they're going to be held and what dates. So on October 3rd at 1:30, the Colleyville Library. Know Your Customer, October the 10th at 1:30 p.m., the Colleyville Library. Create a Business Plan on October the 17th at 1:30 again, Colleyville Library. Choose a Business Structure. And October 24th, 1:30 p.m., the Colleyville Library, Funding Your Business. And these are all put on for free, so swing by and say hi and listen up. It's got some good information.
Great.
The first one's tomorrow, right?
That's right,
There we go.
on the 3rd.
Okay, I want to report or announce that the Stormwater Master Plan meeting will be held tomorrow evening at the Colleyville Center. The Colleyville Public Works Department will hold a forum tomorrow between 6 and 7 p.m. at Colleyville Center. And they're looking for public comments regarding stormwater issues and concerns including flooding, water quality, stormwater projects, and maintenance. By the way, they held a meeting like this in the spring. So this is a meeting that is going to have significant input to the final stormwater master plan that's been underway for almost a year now. And it's really key if you have issues with flooding or if you know of any kind of situation that would affect water quality or stormwater, please plan to attend. If you can't attend, or if you have additional information about the meeting, you can contact Colleyville Public Works Department at 817-503-1090. So we'll hope to see you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at Colleyville Center.
And I get to talk about our police department going the extra mile again to get grants to keep our officers safe. They've been awarded a grant by the Department of Justice under the Bulletproof Vest Grant Program, or Partnership, sorry, which was created by the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant Act of 1998. Government at its finest. Is a unique U.S. Department of Justice initiative designed to provide critical resources to state and local law enforcement. As part of this program, the Bulletproof Vest Program reimburses the city 50% of funds spent on new or replacement vests. The officers' vests are on a 5-year replacement cycle, so this program allows for the affordability of premium vests to ensure officer safety. This year, the city was once again awarded $5,181.77 in reimbursement funds towards the purchase of 12 new or replacement bulletproof vests.
Right.
So what I'm about to say won't come as a surprise to anybody, but Colleyville is a city of all-stars, which we all knew, but this is related to something specific. So last week, a group of our all-star employees were recognized at the Chamber of Commerce golf outing. The employees were chosen by their peers to represent the city at the outing. Evidenced by their last place trophy, the group was not
It's a
chosen for their
tradition.
golf acumen. That's okay. Instead, each individual was selected for his exceptional service to this community. So I want to congratulate each of the staff members that participated. Robbie Pinner, if I mispronounce a name, please excuse me. Robbie Pinner with Public Works, Cece Seagroves with Public Works, Josh Pittman with Public Works, Brent Wilson in Fire, Josh Large with Parks, Jamie Maynard, Community Development, Eddie Tanja-Dunrat, in IT, and Nathan Froman in Engineering. And as I already said, you're all Colleyville All-Stars.
I was out at that tournament. They had a lot of fun. I did too, but they beat me out. I got last place last year. They get this neat trophy. I was hoping that we would have that. I should have brought mine. It's a jackass on a little spring. It's really neat.
You brought it last year, didn't you?
I did. I still have it.
Mayor, I have a feeling if they knew you wanted last place, they
Yeah.
might not have fought you for it, you know?
Well, actually, I told everybody all year, we're winning first place this year, but I couldn't get my team to cheat. They just wouldn't do it. So we maintained our integrity and came in about middle somewhere. So, so by the way, Cece Seagroves, who's in Public Works, won the longest drive.
Great.
Yes.
That's great.
That was a good drive. Let me just comment, the city does a great job of putting all the upcoming events on our website, and there's a whole list of them. We're doing a lot of events. And so the ones that are coming up pretty quickly, the Old Time State Cook-Off, October the 12th, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at the Colleyville Center. That's fun. Haunted Trail Fest, kids dress up, and that's a blast. October the 19th, 6 to 9 at the Nature Center. Art on Main Street, that's new.
Yeah.
November the 16th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. out here at the City Plaza.
Yes, sir.
It's under construction, but it will be finished by then.
Yes, sir.
It'll be beautiful.
Indeed.
We hope so.
Now it will be.
It will be finished.
Don't get wishy-washy on me now. And tree lighting, December the 6th, 5 to 8 at the City Plaza. Christmas tree lighting.
Christmas tree lighting.
It's a great event. Everybody loves that event. It's a lot of fun. So I think that's all of our announcements. We have a recognition. So I really appreciate and I'm proud that the Police Chief Barton from the Capel Police Department is with us tonight, and he's representing the Texas Police Chiefs Association and going to give recognition to our police department. I'll let him talk about what that is, but if you'll join me, I'm going to come down there with you. And can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, Chief.
I've got a presentation to read here. I'll try and spin around. I'll play the whole room. Mayor and council, thank y'all very much for allowing me to do this. My name is Danny Barton. I'm the police chief in Capel, and I'm also a member of the Texas Police Chiefs Association. I'm very honored this evening to represent the Texas Police Chiefs Association and the Best Practices Program. The Texas Police Chiefs Association is made up of over 1,400 professional police chiefs throughout the state who are dedicated to improving and delivering quality police services. I'm here this evening to present the Colleyville Police Department with a certificate of recognition for continuing to maintain their compliance with Texas law enforcement's best business practices for law enforcement for the past 4 years. Several years ago, the Texas Police Chief Association developed an accreditation program for Texas law enforcement. Many of you know about the accreditation programs for schools, universities, and hospitals. They're all programs of professional excellence and are required to have proof of compliance to show that they meet those professional standards. TPCA's is very similar. It's a voluntary program where agencies, they got to prove that they meet 168 difficult standards. The standards are based on Texas law, Texas court decisions, and contemporary best practices as identified by the Texas Police Chiefs Association. These standards address the full range of law enforcement operations, such as use of force, protection of citizens' rights, vehicle pursuits, property and evidence management, and patrol and investigative operations, just to name a few. This program has become the new gold standard for the professional law enforcement in Texas, and agencies across the state are working to meet these requirements. Approximately 4 years ago, the Colleyville Police Department first attained their recognition status with the TPCA, and that is not an easy thing to do. The agency had to conduct a complete audit of all of its policies, procedures, and operations in order to meet these standards. Since that time, the agency has submitted annual reports that were reviewed to ensure they continue to meet standards and continue to provide the citizens of Colleyville with effective police service. In September of this year, 2 trained assessors, police chiefs, and command officers from other parts of the state spent 2 days making another on-site assessment of the Colleyville Police Department. These assessors interviewed staff, inspected facilities and operations, rode with field officers, and ensured compliance with all standards. Their report was then sent to the recognition committee, comprised of 9 active police chiefs from around the state, who reviewed the report and voted to award recognized status. That vote, by the way, was unanimous. During this process, the Colleyville Police Department has once again proven that it meets or exceeds the best practices for professional law enforcement in Texas. Of the over 2,400 law enforcement agencies in Texas, only 158 agencies have received a recognized status. Only 82 have been re-recognized. So that's a pretty big deal. This evening, we officially re-recognize the Colleyville Police Department for their outstanding performance. What does this mean to your community? The recognition program assures both city management and the citizens of Colleyville that their police department is operating in a manner that reflects the best practices in Texas law enforcement. It means your police department is continually striving for excellence. And it also means that your police department is one of the very best in the state. The certification that we present this evening is symbolic. While it is clearly the mark of professional excellence, the real value of the program is in the process they must complete to receive this certificate. Once again, this is not the end of the process. The department will continue to submit annual reports to assure continued compliance. And in 4 years, we will be back for another on-site inspection to ensure the agency is continuing to comply with all standards. It's rigorous. It's very rigorous. The Colleyville Police Department is a leader in law enforcement and in Texas. You should be very proud of their accomplishments. So without further ado, Mr. Mayor and Chief Miller, I will present you with your recertification. So this plaque says, the Texas Police Chiefs Association, to all that see this certificate, know that the Colleyville Police Department, having fulfilled the necessary qualifications and mandatory requirements of the State Police Chiefs Association, Texas Law Enforcement Best Practices Recognition Program, by voluntarily proving their compliance with the Texas Law Enforcement Best Practices, the Texas Police Chiefs Association Foundation Board of Directors does hereby award this certificate of recognition effective the 9th day of September 2019. Congratulations, Chief.
You're here.
On that group.
So this award really belongs to our entire staff. Our staff that's here tonight, Tracy Gordon used to be our records manager. She's moved on, but she came back and played a role. She was our accreditation manager. So when she left, we contracted her back, and she saw us through this on-site. Chief Ray, Lieutenant Graves, all of our staff really played a role in this. This is not just, literally everybody in the organization played a role at some point in time. And our staff is committed to accreditation. We're committed to implementing these and practicing these best practices. And as a matter of fact, accreditation is not something that we have to do. It's voluntary. But it does communicate to our residents that we are a professional organization, and it does communicate that we have met, based on an independent third party coming in and looking at our operations and our policies, that we met the highest standards in Texas law enforcement. And so we're very proud, and I wanted to thank our entire staff for everything that they did to get us across that finish line. And thank you, sir, for coming.
I know this took a lot of work, and I really appreciate the work you guys put in, and it's well-deserved. And it's really an honor to stand up here with the police chiefs of the best 2 police departments in the state of Texas. Of course, we're number 1, but we're honored for number 2 to be here. No, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good. We do have a wonderful police department, and first responders just in general, they're excellent. So with that, we'll move to agenda item number 4. And item number 4 is a consent and reading a consent resolution, reading and public hearing of resolution R-19-4423, a resolution approving city council action under consent items at the regular city council meeting of October 2, 2019. Whereas City Council has taken action on certain items on the agenda under consent items, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Colleyville, Texas, Section 1, that the agenda decisions approved by City Council action under consent items as follows are hereby adopted. A, approval of the minutes of the regular City Council meeting of September 17, 2019. B, approval to purchase 42 body cameras and related chargers, clips, and warranties in an amount not to exceed $96,748, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement. C, approval of a professional services agreement with Baird, Hampton, and Brown in an amount not to exceed $78,535 for the design of the John McCain Road Hike and Bike Trail project, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement. D, approval of a construction services agreement with Mobile Construction Corporation for the FY 2020 miscellaneous concrete repair contract in an amount not to exceed $475,000, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement. E, approval of a local transportation project advance funding agreement for the reconstruction of Cheeksburger Road, Sandbar to Oak Briar Lane, and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement. And it is so resolved. So, any staff comments on these items? Body cameras would be the chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chief Miller, the police chief. I wanted to just talk a little bit about our body camera program. This is something that we discussed with you extensively during our budget meetings. Both the city manager's office and the council were extremely supportive of implementing this important initiative to help us with accountability and transparency. Again, there we go. The infrastructure, servers, storage was already planned and procured as part of our previous project where we implemented WatchGuard in-car video system that we completed last year. So we planned in advance for us to eventually implement a body camera program. This is that next piece. We are planning to use existing fund balance in the vehicle and equipment replacement fund to fund this per the city manager's office. And we're requesting permission to purchase body cameras for all of our police officers, as well as chargers, clips, and a 3-year warranty for the not to exceed price of $96,748.
Right. Any question for the chief?
No, it's great, great program.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Reyes, Director of Public Works. I'll be speaking on the next 3 items. Item 4C is staff is seeking approval for a professional service agreement with Barrett, Hampton and Brown for the design of John McCain Road Hike and Bike Trail project. This project consists of approximately 2,000 linear feet of 10 feet concrete trails and 1,200 linear feet of 5 feet concrete sidewalk to connect portions of the existing trails along John McCain Road in order to provide a continuous, safe, and paved route from Stillwater Circle to Colleyville Boulevard. This is part of our initiative to start connecting trails, especially from the Cotton Belt Trail to 26, and then from there back to the McPherson Park on the west side of town. So staff recommends approval on this one.
And Ray, real quick on that, just, do you have a question?
I was just going to ask what the hopeful timing of that was.
We hope to get the design done by the end of this year and probably get construction going in the spring.
Great.
We'd like to get it going quickly.
And Ray, as part of the design, you referenced a 10-foot trail, but we may make alterations in that size to deal with trees and/or
Absolutely,
challenges.
that's the maximum width, and if we need to narrow, we'll have to narrow, but that's the ultimate width we would like to go with. But yes, we would make accommodations for that.
And it'll also require going over a creek, or basically building culverts or something over there's a number of creeks and, I guess, water flow
Drainage ways.
Correct, this will have,
where the trail is, so we'll have to build over those, right?
correct. We'll have significant challenges throughout this whole project because of the drainage and the creek crossings. So yes,
Right.
that's why the fee is a little high. There's going to be some,
There's several, probably, well, 2 major ones I know of,
correct.
and there may be a further one. But this does get it to McPherson Park,
Right.
correct?
Yes, it will connect to
Okay.
McPherson Park and all the way back to 26 and
Great.
Cotton Belt Trail.
Yeah, it
Thank
fills in some really key gaps, so it's gonna be great to
Sure.
walk from 26 to McPherson. And there's
Yep.
trails in McPherson, as you
It
know.
also ties in Pleasant Run, which will ultimately
Right.
tie into
Right, correct, so we'll have a
north to South Lake. So this is all
Right.
part of a bigger picture
Yeah.
plan.
Correct, and then also, if you remember last council meeting, we also approved the trail from Pleasant Run and McCain up to South Colleyville. So we'll have a good interconnectivity of trails along that area.
To the bridge, right?
Correct, bridge, yes, sir.
I just had a couple of questions real quick. Number one, I just want to say thank you for breaking this down like you did, because there's a lot of pieces and hidden parts in here that's being fixed that could be misconstrued of what goes where and what funding goes where, and you guys broke it down. I appreciate that. Square footage, square yards, and quantities and stuff like that. I do have a couple of technical questions. As I read kind of through the contract, I noticed there was no payment bond, no performance bond. Is that just because it's,
He's on the concrete.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so on the design,
Wait, okay.
yes. Yeah, before we moved
Well,
on,
other
Jerry asked me a
page came
couple
up.
questions.
yeah.
So,
There's questions about the concrete.
yeah, I'm sorry, Ray.
No worries.
We're going to get to it on the next one.
Yes.
That's what I was looking at. I
Okay, no worries.
apologize.
I skipped it.
I jumped ahead with the pictures, so it's all good. The other was great as well, so on the part 2.
Okay.
On this, the bonding and the payment, performance bond and payment bonds.
Yes, sir.
Is it just because it's broke down in certain sections, that's how you're going to pay? Because it's a big number.
Correct.
Really and truly.
So this one here is an ongoing, continuous project that we do annually.
Right.
And so we set aside $400,000 to do some miscellaneous concrete improvement projects. So there is no bonds because it's maybe some ADA ramps or maybe a portion of sidewalk. We do not require them from them at that time.
Because you're paying for certain specific projects that'll be paid, so that, it's kind of broke down is what it is. It's a
Yes.
big contract,
Yeah,
but broke
it's
down,
big sectors, yes.
so that whenever you're paying on certain things.
Correct.
Okay. And that's the only, that's what I was just making sure, it's not one big lump pay and you know.
Correct. So on this one here, so I'll break it down. So on the miscellaneous concrete project, we set aside $400,000 for miscellaneous small sections of concrete that we do.
Yeah.
What we also did on top of this project is, we also have the fire station who doesn't have enough parking spaces
I
at
saw
the
that.
central fire station. So we went ahead and took their prices and came up with the $75,000 to go ahead and do that as well.
I
as
think
part
that
of
was
this
wise,
So-
very wise.
to get
I,
it-
I
that's
mean,
great.
your numbers are, those are great numbers, really and truly, so. And I noticed that, they just beat the other people by, I mean, $250.
Yeah.
And once I went back through all the line items, it was very comparable, so you guys did a great job. Thank you.
So yes, on that one, staff recommends approval to go proceed with the contractor,
Okay.
move forward. Okay. And then on 4E, if you remember on this one, this is the Cheeks Barger project from Sandbar to Oakbriar. And on this one, we lost the funding. We came last year, we approved the AFA, we had the funding in place. It was a 90-10 split. During that transition, we were at the last year of the funding, so they give us 5 years timelines to get it going. We were short on that timeline. They took away the funding. We went back and renegotiated with TxDOT, and we did come back with the funding for this new project. However, it's going to be an 80-20 split now because it's coming out of a different pot, but we're still moving forward with the project. And we did get some additional funding elsewhere on this one for the Green Ribbon project as well. So
Okay.
it ended up being a win-win.
Okay, great.
So
That's
staff
great.
recommends approval on this one as well.
Got a question. I was asked the other day at a meeting, somebody asked me about drainage. See right where that curb is, and there's, at the back end of those lots, is that where kind of a creek runs back behind
Yes,
those
sir,
houses?
we have a channel back there.
Yeah,
and-
okay. Channel, or concrete channel, or
Yes,
just
it's a
a
concrete line
dewey?
channel.
Okay.
On the south side and on the north side, it is.
Yeah,
It's
which
drastic.
direction's the water flowing?
It's flowing to the north, to
Okay.
Bear Creek.
Okay. So, water, so where the creek crosses 26, right there at the Journey Church, does that water make its way eventually to this point?
No, that one keeps going.
Goes the other way.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
one
I
keeps
thought,
going up
okay.
26, but this is more for the basin at that curve, at the curve
Yeah.
lessening in that area.
So this just, the watershed is just the houses and businesses to the south?
Correct.
Okay, the reason I asked that is the gentleman was telling me that the water came from the 26 area, and I said, I didn't think so.
No, that would be
Okay,
way too
so-
much water, so that is
Okay,
going up that way.
all right, good.
All right, and we did make it a point to make sure as we're going there to all the drainage be contained within the underground storm sewers that we're gonna be doing as part of
Okay.
these projects to
Okay,
help out the homeowners in that area.
okay, very good.
All right, staff recommends approval on that one.
Great.
Thank you, appreciate it very much. If there's no other questions by the council, I'm open the public hearing. Public hearing is open. Do we have any cards?
Yes.
Kathy Hadley?
She's for two different items, 4C and 4E.
Okay, got it.
Kathy Hadley, 204 Timberline Drive North, represent myself, and I have several items I'd like to speak about. The first one is 4C, with the design.
Can you
phase.
pull that mic a little, just pull the mic a little
Just
closer?
raise it up, yeah.
There you go.
Do I need to
Thank-
start over?
Yeah.
A little
No,
more.
you're
Okay.
perfect. We got
A
it.
little more. So it's a, yeah, there you
There
go.
you go.
The design phase on 4C, for the hike and bike trail project, we're paying somebody almost $100,000 to come and get their opinion of how where our citizens, residents are gonna use the hike and bike trail. Why don't you just ask the residents?
No,
And does this price include them actually doing the construction of the hike and bike trail? That
No.
is my concern, because it doesn't say
Yeah.
that.
No, it's not for the construction, it is for the design, engineering design, so it's not an opinion, it's actual design that then can be constructed from that design.
Okay,
no-
and my concern is, why not just put out a questionnaire for the residents who are out there on their bikes and walking? They know best where a good walking area is.
Well, it's actually there, as Councilman Dodson pointed out, along John McCain, there's a couple of creeks that it has to go over, and there's not much room, so they have to design an engineering design on how to build and construct those items.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's more technical, okay.
Yeah.
The other one is, okay, for E.
Yeah,
Once again, we're on Cheeksburger, Sandbar Lane to Oak Briar.
Mhm.
We're not taking out that curve, are we? that curve does slow traffic down, keeps Cheeks Parker a good 30 miles an hour, and I have spoken with the fire department, and that is not a concern. So I don't know, and trees are big and beautiful there. And if we don't need a big wide sidewalk, I don't even see people using the sidewalks we have now. A nice skinny little sidewalk is fine, but we don't need these monster sidewalks. What are we gonna do about the trees? I know you can't really talk about it right now. That is a huge concern for me. So before it's approved, I would appreciate remembering the atmosphere of Colleyville. Cheeks Barger has a story behind it. Mr. Cheek and Miss Barger, or whichever one it was, that Cheeks Barger was made because the Mr. Cheek would take his horse and buggy to go see Mrs. Barger and made a trail. And it became Cheeks Barger. And Miss Hall's, well, actually it is, what is it called? It was Hall's pasture when I rode my horse there. And now there are areas where we rode our horses, there are trails, they are now roads and Woodland Hills, that's it. Some of the main roads in Woodland Hills are from horse trails that we made years ago. Keep the Colleyville country atmosphere and it's a beautiful atmosphere. It keeps people slow, and there's a neat story behind everything. Okay, and the last one, okay, that is it. That's all. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's the only cards I have. Anyone else wish to speak on any of these consent items? I see no one indicating that, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Oh, yes, sir.
I'd like to say something. Ms. Hadley, you're right. We watched those trees. We negotiated to where we could put just one sidewalk on one side. They were gonna have two, and it was gonna take out a lot of trees. We were really conscious on this. It bothered us how it kinda did that, but we gotta straighten it out just a little bit and then put that walk in there to make it conducive through that area, because people were trying to walk out on the streets. And so, but we did negotiate it to where it's only on one side now. We take your sentiments very highly, and I appreciate you expressing that towards us. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe there's also huge ditches, especially on the south side. And this will cover up the ditch. So from a safety standpoint, I think that's part of the reason we got the grant.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's a major thing. And by the way, we were going to have to take some property to put this in, and we were able to redesign the roads, so we're not taking anyone's property.
If there are no other comments, the motion is in order.
I move adoption of Resolution R-19-4423.
I'll second.
You have a motion to approve by Councilmember Dodson and a second by Councilmember Kelly. Would you open the vote, please, ma'am? You may show it whenever it's ready. And that motion is approved, the motion is approved, therefore the resolution is approved. There you go.
There you go.
We learned
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 5. This is first reading and public hearing of ordinance O-19-2099. Consideration of a special use permit for alcoholic beverage sales on premises consumption on Lot 1, Block 1 of the Town Square Edition located at 5604 Colleyville Boulevard, Suite A and B, case ZC19-011. Ben?
Thank you. Ben Briner, Director of Community Development. As you stated, this is a special use permit request for the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premises consumption. This is specific to the new location for the Ruggeri's Italian Restaurant, and it is at 5604 Colleyville Boulevard, Suites A and B. So here's an aerial map of the site. It is an end cap of this building that you can see. We've highlighted the two suites in the yellow. It is currently zoned CC2, which is our I just lost the name of the district, but our general commercial district, where we allow for restaurants and offices and all of our retail districts. And so this zoning does allow for the use. It is part of the Colleyville Boulevard corridor, which is also where we have designated the area where we would expect to see our commercial businesses to locate. So here's a pictometry photo of the site. Again, it is the end space for this building, the north building of the two buildings on the property. They are in the process of going through the building permit procedures. I don't think that we've been able to issue the permit just yet, but we are working towards that. Hopefully that'll happen soon. This is to allow for the sale of alcoholic beverages in association with their restaurant use. They did provide some other information that was also provided in your packet. They have identified that their hours of operation to be Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., and then Friday and Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So it will be for evening only, dinner only. We did send notices out to surrounding property owners within 500 feet, and we have not received any response one way or the other for this item. Staff does recommend approval, as does the Planning and Zoning Commission. They heard this item at their September 9th meeting, and they recommend approval 4-0. And with that, I can answer any
Very good.
questions.
Any questions for Ben?
I think I know the answer, but did they have an alcoholic beverage SUP at their previous location?
Yes, they did.
Just a comment. On the ordinance, you actually specified the hours of operation, and you limited to the 5 to 9 and 5 to 9:30, which would be reasonable, given the fact that's what they asked for. However, it might be a little bit, we might want to be a little bit more liberal in that application and allow for them to have open earlier if they wanted to for lunch. It seems like they would have to come back for an amendment to the SUP if we limit the hours now. And so going later, I get, but going earlier for lunch, that should be, something that I don't think would be a big issue for us, especially on the weekends.
Or if they wanted to ever have brunch or something, I mean,
Yeah.
in the event they wanted to do something a little different.
Yeah,
So maybe we change the hours to noon or 11 or whatever, 10:30 even,
yeah.
Yeah. whatever.
Were they open before lunch?
Yes.
That's what I thought they were,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
probably a
that
good
certainly makes
suggestion.
sense.
Yeah.
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 Right. Just as what we've done in the past several, we've taken what they've provided as far as hours
Yeah,
of operation.
yeah.
It's reasonable.
Yeah.
I just think they weren't maybe thinking for the future opportunity.
Yeah. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to open the public hearing. Public hearing is open. Have any cards?
No, sir.
Have no cards. Does anyone wish to speak? We got one. Yeah, great. I'm going to have you state your name and address.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Michael Hirschman. I'm president of Eagle Town Square, Inc., which is the general partner, the owner of this property. My address is 5430 LBJ Freeway, Suite 1200 in Dallas, 75240. And Juliet and Morris were unable to make it tonight, the proprietors of the restaurant. I just wanted to come before you and let you know that we appreciate your consideration of this.
Great.
We've been quite impacted by the road work. Tonight was nice to drive down and almost see the completed vision of what the pain and suffering has caused all of us for a while. But it's going to be great when it's finished, and we feel like this restaurant would be a great anchor for our shopping center and help us reposition it to go forward and capture the growth that we all hope the remodeled Colleyville Boulevard brings to Colleyville. So appreciate your consideration. I think the proposal to provide some flexibility of the hours would be appreciated by them. They may or may not take advantage of it, but I think that would be great to not have to come back if they so choose to do that. Happy to answer any questions, but appreciate your consideration.
Sure. Any questions?
No.
We just appreciate them staying in Colleyville. They're an institution, and
Yeah,
we're happy that they've found a new home.
So are we. We're excited.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so 26 is getting close.
Yeah.
And before we get through, it's going to be beautiful. You will know you're in Colleyville.
For sure.
It'd be good for you guys.
Just a quick question. Are you working on the installation or addition of fire suppression
Yes.
sprinklers?
We are. In fact, we had a meeting out there today, and we'll be working with the fire marshal on that. But yes, that's what I believe the holdup on the building permit is at this point in time.
Okay. We'll work with them to give an at-risk permit or to get their permit expedited. Obviously, occupancy would be the trigger.
Yes, sir.
It would be held up.
Yeah. And that's,
We've got to work out some things on getting the water across Colleyville Boulevard and some other things that are,
Yeah, it's a challenge.
yeah, there's some challenges. But we're on it, and we would appreciate any help you can give us to expedite their construction, knowing full well that we have to complete that before they can open.
so that's a sprinkler system for the whole strip center?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, okay, that's what I thought.
So
Very
there's
good.
not a fire hydrant on that side to tie in for your fire
Might
suppression?
be a lateral, might not be the main.
Right.
I'm
There is
sure-
a hydrant, there is a hydrant right there. And I am not really, we
Versed.
just had our preliminary meeting
Oh, that's-
today.
that's all
So,
good.
Okay.
but there are some things that we are going to have to
As a
figure
guy
out
in
and
the
work
industry, I was
with.
just curious.
might
It was just- it was a curious question.
Traditionally, you don't let them tie into a lateral, they tie into the main, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
directional bore that all under there, it's expensive.
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
That brand-new concrete's
I was-
not getting cut.
No,
And that's exactly why I was asking
That's
that.
for sure.
I was like, oh, no.
you know,
Okay.
it's too bad we didn't know about it a few months ago, but we didn't.
All right.
Well, thank you very much,
Okay,
appreciate
thank
it
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
being here. Any other comments or questions by the
I
council?
figured that was what you were going to say.
Nope. So this was first reading and public hearing, so there's no action tonight. So we're going to move on to the next agenda item. There'll be action at the next meeting. So we'll move to agenda item 6A, and this is reading and public hearing of resolution R-19-4464. Find the resolution. Resolution R-19-4424, a resolution appointing a member to the Planning and Zoning Commission, whereas there is one vacancy, place 3 on the Planning and Zoning Commission with an unexpired term of September 2020. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Colleyville, Texas, Section 1, that the Colleyville City Council hereby appoints the following person to place 3 to serve through the unexpired term of September 2020. Place 3, we'll fill the name in just a second, and it is so resolved. So this is a resignation, so it's a fill-in. The council has the authority to go ahead and fill that when it happens. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people that had applied or previously applied for this position. I had looked all of them over and in some detail, and my recommendation is Sayeda Syed to fill that. She has demonstrated her commitment to this city for several years now. She comes to everything. She's a engineer, professional engineer by training, and has had a good bit of experience in various things. She is currently a alternate on the ZBA. Because we put her in there, we tend to use that as a place to jump from. She's also on the Architectural Review Committee, which we talked about tonight in our work session. If you weren't there, you didn't hear it. Architectural Review Committee probably will be changed into an ad hoc committee. And, she's on Metroport Court and has been for a couple of years, I think, so she'll probably be rolling off of that. So that's my recommendation. Any other comments or thoughts?
I think it's a wise choice.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's a
Very
great
good.
choice.
Very dedicated citizens. so.
okay. Then I'll make the motion if you're okay with that.
I'll second it.
I move. I got a public hearing. Public hearing's
Oh,
open. Thank
great.
you.
I withdraw
She was
my-
glaring at me.
I wasn't looking at the boss. I was looking at.
Public hearing is open. I have no cards. Anyone wish to speak on this item? See no one wishing to speak, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Now I'll move to approve resolution R-19-4424, 24 with the putting Sayeda Syed into place 3 in the resolution I read previously.
And I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion approved by the mayor, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Lindemood. No discussion. Would you open the vote? It's open. And that motion is approved, therefore the resolution is approved. Thank you very much. Now we're moving to agenda item 6B, this reading and public hearing of resolution R-19-4425. A resolution approving a settlement and release agreement in connection with a notice of claim dated August the 20th, 2019, filed by claimant Lacey Arancibia. Is that right? Whereas, on August the 20th, 2019, Lacey Arancibia filed a notice of claim for damage to her vehicle resulting from an exposed pipe in the roadway along Branford Road on or about August the 19th, 2019. And whereas, following investigation, the Colleyville City Council believes it to be in the best interest of the city to settle the claim. Now therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Colleyville, Texas, Section 1, that the Colleyville City Council hereby authorizes the city manager to settle the claim in an amount not to exceed $12,250 and to execute a full settlement and release agreement in connection with the same, and it is so resolved. So do you want me to just talk about this, or
Sure.
do you want, or doesn't matter to me?
Yes, I can talk real quickly about it.
Okay.
On August 20th, there was a car accident that was related to the road construction taking place on Bransford. There was an issue where a cone was moved, and a car struck a pipe in the roadway. The car did not leave the site and was damaged beyond ability to continue to drive. The police came out, and an investigation was conducted, and the city secretary and I communicated with our insurance policy and looked at all the different factors involved and believed it was appropriate to consider settlement. And the settlement relates to the payment of the vehicle. The vehicle was totaled, and the city will take possession of the total vehicle and then, of course, sell it for salvage value.
Yeah. Okay, so this was Branford. This was a road that we had, the county was redoing for us, so they were actually the ones that was redoing the road under our agreement with them, which is a fantastic agreement, saves the city a lot of money, and they do good work. In this particular case, the county workmen were involved in that situation, and I called Commissioner Fickus today, explained to him what we were doing, and told him we are doing this because it's the right thing to do. Our insurance said, no, we're denying the claim. We said, no, it's not that's not right, so we're gonna do it. And because county people were out there involved in this, Commissioner Fickus said, told me he agreed. The county had denied the claim too, just like our insurance company did. But he said he was going to reopen that and would hope to participate with us in this claim. So that would be great if they do that. So I appreciate the conversation we had today. I think that's, any other questions, any background anybody wants to know?
I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Fickus as well. And we've worked hand in hand with the county, and he's done very well for the city of Colleyville. As a matter of fact, he's a Colleyville resident, got a huge heart, and so hats off to you, Mr. Fickus, and also to our city, because we knew it was the right thing to do. And I'm proud of the Colleyville for stepping up for this family.
Me too.
And Mr. Mayor, just a clarification, the $12,250 is for the vehicle, medical bill, and towing.
Yeah, okay. Very good.
Okay.
It's an important distinction for
Yes.
the process.
Yeah.
And the
So we'll
medical
cover that.
bill was just for the deductible.
Yes.
Right, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't even try to get anything out of that either as
No.
well, so,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
good family.
Very good. Then I need to open a public hearing. Public hearing is up. Did you want to say something? Public hearing is open. Have no cards. Anyone wish to? Mrs. Hadley.
Kathy Headley, 204 Timberline Drive North, to represent myself. I'm thankful nobody was hurt or anything. I live off of Bransford, and I went up and down that road many times a day, and if you just go slow, when there's construction going on, you don't have to worry. She must have been flying. I'm sorry. I think that y'all are going above and beyond. I'd like to speak to this lady. I can't believe this. She has to have some responsibility in how in the world she is driving on Bransford. When there's construction going on and there are big barrels, you slow down. $12,000 damage to her car? How fast was she going?
So let me,
I don't have to bother answer.
Yeah.
I think that y'all, God's looking down from heaven smiling at you. I really appreciate what y'all are doing for this woman, but people need to be more responsible
yeah, let
for
me-
their actions.
Yeah, so let me fill you in on the rest of the story that I left out. So what actually happened was, as they were working on Branford,
It was just
that
a
water,
valve pipe.
what's that called?
It was a riser pipe.
Riser, water
Valve
riser
stack.
pipe sticking up, and there had been cones around it, and in fact, travel was on the other lane. But what actually occurred is a county employee moved the cones. And so we deemed it really wasn't her fault, and she wasn't going fast. It just stuck up, and she was driving on what appeared to be the right way to drive. And by the way, we watched the entire video when the police car was there, had the video of the whole discussion of everyone. So we really don't blame her. I mean, if the cone had been there, she would have seen it. So she just didn't see it. So that's why we're doing this.
Okay,
So,
And,
yeah.
and they tried to put asphalt around it to
Yeah.
make it conducive to come. But,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
in low cars, when that
Yeah.
valve pipe's sticking up that high, there's
Yeah.
no way. And you got asphalt tore up everywhere,
Yeah.
and they had moved the cone without placing it back over the top of
Yeah,
it.
and that had just happened. They were in transition.
It was-
So it was just a mistake on everybody's part, so it
yeah,
just
that we're
wasn't.
paying for.
That we
that I'm
are,
paying
but that's
for.
the right thing to do,
Yeah.
so.
Well, y'all have gone above and beyond, and I appreciate it. I love this city, and y'all are the main reason why. This is such a great city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? I see no one indicating so I'm going to close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed.
Can I make
Yeah,
a?
go ahead. I was just going to say, were you going to make a motion?
I was?
Yep. Yeah, just very quickly. I think it was stated, and maybe you didn't hear, that the car was totaled. In other words, it ruined the engine.
Yeah.
So, and it was an older car.
No, it was 2016, so.
2016. Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean old.
I have a 2016.
Hey, I'm with you.
I
Make
have
my
an
car old.
I have an older car than that. Anyway,
It was a small car.
it was ruined.
Yeah.
It was
That's-
ruined, and we're paying to replace the car.
Yes. And on a related note, we have for sale a 2016 one-owner vehicle. If anyone is
For parts,
interested,
right?
For parts.
It's slightly used, is that
It's an
right?
Audi, yeah.
Audi, okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve resolution R-19-4425.
I'll second.
Have a motion to approve the resolution by Councilmember Wheat, a second by Councilmember Kelly. Would you open the vote, please? And that motion is approved, therefore the resolution is approved. All right, let me get to agenda item 6C. Okay, so this is reading in public hearing of Resolution R-19-4426, a resolution nominating candidates for the Tarrant Appraisal District Board of Directors, whereas the City of Colleyville contracts with the Tarrant Appraisal District for settling property valuations, and whereas the City of Colleyville is entitled to nominate one candidate for each of the 5 positions on the Tarrant Appraisal District Board of Directors, and whereas the terms of the TAD Board of Directors expire December 31st, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Colleyville, Texas, that Section 1, that the City of Colleyville nominates the following to serve on the Tarrant Appraisal District Board of Directors: Gary Lasada and Richard Diott, and it is so resolved. So this is a situation where, as the resolution stated, we're one of the taxing entities that the Tarrant Appraisal District works with. Therefore, we have a vote in who goes on the Board of the Directors. There's 5 people, as that resolution said. We can also nominate people. So we have the right to actually nominate 5 people. We're nominating 2. So I need to talk about who these individuals are. So let me talk with Gary Lasada first. I met with Gary today, and I did pass out to the council his resume and a testimony that he gave to the Texas Senate Property Tax Reform Committee hearing. And so let me just comment on his resume. He was a member of the Tarrant Appraisal Review Board from 2009 to 2015, has a great deal of experience. By the way, if you're not familiar with how it works, the review board is an independent body that actually sits on the hearings. If you protest, they're the ones that hear your protest and work with the TAD to resolve that. Well, he's got great experience. The testimony, and you got a script of the testimony he gave, which is, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages. And if you look that over, he hit every point that I have seen from my personal involvement as a citizen with TAD and protesting and stuff. But he has a great deal of knowledge about it, is very specific. So between the fact that his executive experience and then his Tarrant Appraisal Review Board experience, we're, I think, very fortunate that he was willing to run for this position. And by the way, what he told me today was the fact that we passed that resolution recently about trying to get other taxing entities to agree on changing the voting process to make it a little bit less biased to the big guys and give the little guys like us a little bit more chance. He said that's what convinced him to do this. So that's a little, you have his background, and then Rich Diott, you all know Rich because he is a civil engineer, has had that company for a long time and does development work, works with developers. And he was the engineer for Burt Collins development that we spent many months going over. And in the end, he became the guy speaking to us because of his calm, patient demeanor. And he's an engineer. He worked through things very methodically and did a good job with that. But, I didn't get his resume before the meeting tonight. He will send it. He was just tied up in Dallas all day. But he's, if you know him, for those that don't know him, he's been very active in the community for long, I mean, decades. He supports fiscal responsibility. He was a very adamant supporter of the tax legislation, like we all were. He's been previously served chairman of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department Civil Service Commission and led a rewrite of the civil service rules for the department. He served as vice chair of political affairs for the Tarrant County GOP, so he's been involved in many things. He, I believe, is a very respected individual around the county. So I personally was pleased that he was willing to also run for this. And so I can try to answer any questions you may have, but.
And we can nominate up to 5, so if anyone else has any.
Yeah, I mean, we can nominate for 5. So the trick now is, once we have nominees, is to try to get other taxing entities support them for vote, because we don't have very many votes, so we need a lot of people to support that. I assume Mr. Bennett is here. He's going to speak to this in public hearing, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. It's okay. Anyway.
I think both candidates are highly qualified,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
people's champions.
Yeah.
After reading the resumes and knowing Rich
Yeah.
Diott like I do, these guys are servants. They have a big servant's heart, and they're proud of the state of Texas, and they're proud to stand up for the people that are in the state of Texas. They're against big government, and those are my type of people. And so I'll be throwing my support behind both of those candidates.
Okay, good.
Yeah, me too. I know Rich also very well.
Yeah.
And he is, he's not one just to stand back. He's very active, like you said, with the,
Yeah.
with the tax reduction focus, and certainly trying to get the appraisal board in a meaningful way that truly can determine the real value of properties, because the current approach is just not good in any sense.
Yeah, me and Gary had a great conversation about all that and some of the details about it.
Yeah.
And we did discuss the fact, the board, what is a board accountability? Board's accountability is set policy. The administration, Jeff Law runs that, and that they run it, but the board sets the policy that the staff is expected to follow. So, getting people on the board that think like we do from a fiscal standpoint and a transparency perspective is important, and they both understand if they do get elected, there's them, and I forget how big the board, how many's on the board. Nonetheless, they have to influence the rest of their peers to make the changes. So that's why it's important to have people that, will do that. And I think that both of them will do.
And unfortunately, the current system basically is so biased to the larger entities, like the cities, Dallas and Fort Worth, and the school boards there, that they basically determine not only who's there, but I believe they heavily bias the approach
Yes.
of the whole organization.
And
It needs to be an elected position.
yeah, and so if we pass this, I feel sure we will pass this and nominate these two individuals, then and incumbent upon us to work with whoever we can and who we know in the other taxing entities to encourage them to put their votes against, some of their votes or all their votes against our nominees, if we're supporting them.
I agree.
So, very good. Need to open the public hearing. If that's all discussion, public hearing is open. Anyone wish to speak? Okay.
Dan Bennett, White Settlement, Texas, 408 Pemberton. I would like to focus on what Councilman Lindemood said. I know both those individuals, and they both expressed to me that if they can't improve the lives of the everyday people that surround them, then they're not doing their job.
Mhm.
That's what I got from the two.
Yeah.
These two, I think, is a great team,
Agree.
and I like to see both of them as a whole be on that board.
Mm.
And I hope this council will work towards that goal. Thank you.
We will do that.
Yep.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Did he state his name and address?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I see no one else wishing to speak, so I'm going to close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Motion would be in order.
I move the adoption of Resolution R-19-4426.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Dawes and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Lindemood. Would you open the vote, please?
No, ma'am.
Not up yet.
There we go.
There it goes.
There it is.
Should, yeah, you read their names when you,
Yes, I read it when
Correct.
I did the
Okay,
resolution. I may need to spell them, but. And you may show it when it's ready. The motion is approved, therefore the resolution approved. We have two nominees. Thank you. Moving to.
Mayor, voting will be in December.
Yeah, voting will be in December. It has to be done, I think, by the 15th of December. So from now to then is when we need to encourage people to get behind our candidates. Okay, moving to agenda item 6D. This is reading in public hearing of Resolution R-19-4427, a resolution providing for the application and acceptance of grant funding from the Office of the Governor, Emergency Management Division, Homeland Security Grant Program, and designating the city manager or his designee as the authorized official. Whereas the Colleyville City Council finds that it is in the best interest of the citizens of Colleyville, Texas, to apply for and accept grant funding to to enhance the region's capability to respond to local effort to prevent terrorism and other catastrophic events, and to prepare the nation for the threats and hazard that pose the greatest risk to the security of the United States through the purchase of a regional emergency response trailer containing chainsaws, pull saws, cones, barricades, air compressor, and generators. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Colleyville, Texas, Section 1, that the Colleyville City Council approves the application for grant funding and accepts the grant funding, grant number 3742901, through the Office of the Governor Emergency Management Division, Homeland Security Grant Program for an Emergency Response Trailer. Section 2, that the Colleyville City Council agrees that in the event of loss or misuse of the Office of the Governor funds, the City Council assures that the funds will be returned to the Office of the Governor in full. Section 3, that the Colleyville City Council authorizes the city manager or as designee as the grantee's authorized official to execute all documentation and actions related to the application and acceptance for funding through the Office of the Governor Emergency Management Division Homeland Security Grant Program. And it is so resolved. Ray?
Okay, Mayor. Council members, good evening. Ray Reyes, Director of Public Works. So the City of Colleyville Public Works Department is a participating agency in the North Central Texas Public Works Emergency Response Team, otherwise known as PWORT. PWORT was established to provide public work facilities, equipment, personnel, and assistance in items of disasters and catastrophes. This equipment would be housed and available for daily use by the Colleyville Public Works Department. The only requirement is that the equipment be maintained and available for regional and statewide disaster deployments. The trailer will be available for use by the city for severe weather, flooding, snow and ice events response, disaster response, large city-sponsored special events. This trailer will increase the city's disaster preparedness capabilities. The trailer will come equipped with 1 air compressor, 10 hand-operated pull saws, 10 gasoline-operated chainsaws, and 10 portable generators. So Public Works is doing everything it can to be recognized as a first responder along with police and fire, and this is one of the steps we're taking to get notified. As you can see above in the picture, City of Carrollton was the first one to receive the trailer, and our trailer will look similar to that with our logo, and it will maintain the PWORT logo on the side as well.
Great, you are first responders in these situations, no doubt about it, so, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Ray?
No, it looks great.
No,
Okay.
great.
this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Ray, just a quick question on the use of the equipment. Is there any limitations on it?
No, it can be used for anything. It only comes when the other cities, which I believe there's about 20 members, call in for help. We have to dedicate that equipment to that response.
So if our community had some major event, this equipment could be used to benefit our residents exclusively until there's a call regionally?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. You know, it's interesting to me that we are getting a lot of things on our agenda about grants and whatnot, much more than before. So we thank you, the staff, for that.
We need a trail grant is what we need to get.
We do. We will get one, right? Well,
Oh,
in fact,
yes.
we'll get more than
We're going to
one.
get one.
Yeah. The strategy is you badger them till you get it.
That's right, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So in the case of this last flooding situation in East Texas, this would be likely to be used in that kind of situation, right?
Yes, sir. We can also respond to any events, especially the one that just happened in Houston. If they called in for help, we can go outside of the North Central Texas Council of Government and go anywhere statewide.
Yeah, in
and
fact, I
provide-
think it took the whole east side of Texas
Yes.
Correct, yes.
and Louisiana. I
So
mean,
yes, so I'm looking forward to that for our Public Works Department to be able to participate and help other regions in need outside of this region.
Good.
that'd be great.
So yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Hadley, that's part of who we are as a community.
That's right.
Right.
That's great.
And we joked a little bit, but in all seriousness, I really do appreciate and thank the staff because it actually takes a lot of work to do all these grants that they are doing and being very successful. So we're very fortunate that you guys are willing to do that. Appreciate it.
Expanding our taxes,
Yes.
it really is.
Yeah. Okay, so motion is in order. And did I have a public hearing? No. Public
Okay, I'll
hearing?
make a motion to approve Oh, you're doing.
Public hearing
oh.
is open. Do you have anyone want to speak on this?
Sorry, I missed
He does that.
My
to us.
fault,
You know,
no.
I'm a mess tonight.
In a
I
hurry.
see no one wishing to speak. Public hearing is closed.
Okay. Now I'll make a motion to approve Resolution R-19-4427.
I'll second. I think he does that on purpose, Kathy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, I can tell you one thing, he's not winning the time tonight. I don't think.
I didn't tell you the time. I was
Oh, yeah, no,
careful.
no.
You said 9:30?
Yeah.
Adrian heard you.
9:30.
I heard 9:30.
9:30. Yeah.
You'll come in way under. I think
Under
is
is
what we're
good,
saying.
right? Yeah.
Oh.
I took
Oh, I
9.
thought it was over. I thought I
No,
took
no.
under.
Oh,
Oh, no, Lord, no.
Okay, we have to go to 9:30. It's gonna drag out.
Oh, no.
Mr. Bennett may have a
You,
lot to say.
Are you willing to? Okay, the vote's open. We're, go ahead and vote,
Our vote, sorry.
and I'll think up things to do.
Distracted there.
And you may show it. The motion's approved, therefore the resolution is approved. Thank you. All right, moving to agenda item 7, which is citizens' comments. And Ms. Bennett, Kathy Hadley? Very good.
Kathy Hadley, 204 Timberline Drive North, represent myself. Okay, in the pre-council meeting, something that I was sitting there thinking, I wanted to raise my hand so bad and give y'all the thought of each of the different boards that y'all have. Why not make the president of each board responsible for keeping up with the terms of each of their people and then getting back to y'all? Because I know Christine is inundated with stuff to do. She's well, everybody's valuable in your,
That's a good idea.
so.
Nobody's going to want to be president.
Well, no, surely
teasing.
people can
Yeah.
keep up with when their time is up, but yeah, make the president
Yeah.
of each group responsible,
Yeah.
and then maybe have somebody follow up with it, but
Mhm.
still, being a teacher, that's
Yeah.
my thought with that. Okay, and then, I'm kinda uncomfortable talking about this, televised. How many buildings are allowed in a backyard? And in the pre-council meeting, I understand family members may be staying the night there too, like during the holidays, if your house is small like mine, you don't have room for everybody. It's not too terribly cold, they could stay out there a night or two. There was some wording that really concerned me. Is it a family member or a family? I'd like to look at the wording that y'all showed on the screen again,
Yeah.
because that's a concern
Mhm.
for me, where I live, I should say. And then I'm back to the geese, and I know y'all are tired of hearing this, but I'm here to help the geese. I drive down Riverwalk and Bluebonnet, and it's just like today, I was going down Bluebonnet, and all the geese were resting underneath the shade of the tree by the community center by by Bluebonnet. And that was like a perfect tree for them, lots of space. Why can't we please get some greenery for them and over there in that area? So that they're not going across the street, going across Riverwalk. And then also taking down a piece of the pond with the brick walls and just doing something so that the little baby ducks, because it'll be spring before you know it, little baby ducks can walk out of the water. They can't jump and fly yet to get out. So that it's not feasible for baby ducks. And children, whenever y'all do have activities at the Colleyville Center, mothers are and fathers are a nervous wreck with their little kids running around out there having fun, because it's like one misstep and they fall off, and it's, several feet fall, and it's not like it's easy to jump in and get them. But if it's more of a just gradual going to it like a pond, you're not gonna have somebody falling in the pond. You understand what I'm saying? Plus, the geese can get out easily. The adult geese don't have a problem, but baby geese, they need it to be more user-friendly for the baby geese. And please, please, I really appreciate if y'all do some kind of landscaping for the geese. I don't want to say landscaping, but some vegetation for them. Okay, and manager and I have had to talk about this, so. And, oh. I'm sorry, that's it. Y'all do an awesome job, and I'm very, very, very happy. Thank y'all so very much for saving our city and all the hard work that everybody does behind the scenes that don't get credit. I mean, y'all do give them credit, but I mean, it's like, y'all are right there, and I just thank each one of y'all all the time. But all the people behind the scenes, I appreciate y'all too, and I know everybody else does. Y'all are great. Thank you for all the hard work you do. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett?
Mayor, Council, Dan Bennett, 408 Pemberton, White Settlement, Texas. I'm here to give you an update on your resolution. I think it was 10:15 on August 20th when you first passed it, and from there, at least 58 taxing entities have been exposed to it. 24 actual councils and trustees have been presented to. I'm not saying it's all generously responded to, some pushback, some misunderstanding. My hope was to have at least 9 co-sponsors. I didn't get 9. I only was able to get White Settlement, River Oaks, Lakeside, and Haslett. HEB had misunderstanding. It was on their agenda. Westover Hills, it was on their agenda, and we had a frank discussion. I understand their reservations. It had nothing to do with the process. It had absolutely nothing to do with actual voting in that time frame. It was optics. Reno, Mayor Hunter, he was going to pass it. He had technical issues. And then he didn't think I was going to be there, and I showed up. Anyway, I was able to go there because of Haltom City. So I talked to Mayor Trong at Haltom City. It was not put on their agenda. But Mayor Trong, after spending about an hour and 15 minutes with him, he says he's going to contact the city of Arlington. Apparently, he must know Jeff Williams. And I told Mayor Davis that it was so late in the cycle that it would be great if you put it on his agenda, and they passed it. But I just said it wasn't necessary. And matter of fact, I just came from Crowley today, and I have an update on that. I talked to Carol Hauser. She is the city secretary for Mayor Davis. And I was just, because they're the ones whose vote wasn't counted in 2015, and I explained to you that TAD is loosey-goosey. There's really no policy procedures in place. I hope Mr. Law is watching this, as I think he did last time I was here. What I have to say about what I witnessed down at Colleyville today was that she opened her letter from TAD in front of me, dated the 27th of September, asking for nominations. Once again, Crowley doesn't matter. Typically, those nomination letters go out in the first week of September. I'm not sure when Christine Lovin received y'all's, but I'm sure it was before the 27th of September. So I immediately went over to the law firm TOASE. It's the same law firm that White Settlement has, River Oaks has, and Haslett has. And I wrote them a little letter. I'm just going to read it to you very quickly, and then I'm going to sit down. I said, "Dear Rob and Drew," Drew is my attorney, Rob is theirs. "The city of Crowley, Texas, a client of TOAS, has been disenfranchised from the nomination process for electing board of directors for its central appraisal district. The notification requesting nominations from Crowley was not delivered in a timely manner that is customary to your client being able to fulfill its council's wishes for nominations, thus damaging its position as stewards for their citizenry. It's all about representation, right? That's all it's about. The administration received notification through the United States Postal Service stamped 27 September 2019, not the first week of September as is customary. Furthermore, due to the nature of the standard mail delivery, the nomination process did not make Crowley's 3 October 19 agenda, which I will be there tomorrow. I'm going to Crowley tomorrow night, which required posting on the 27th of September 2019. Tarrant Appraisal District has harmed the city of Crowley, Texas, and its ability of its citizens to speak on and nominate candidates to represent their interest. Sincerely, Daniel J. Bennett. That's all I wanted to say to you. I pray that the 2 candidates you nominated tonight, by the will of God, will get on that board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Thank you.
All the cards I have, anyone else wish to speak? See no one wish to speak, so we will move to the next agenda item is item 8. We do not need. There's no need for an ending resolution, and we're up to adjournment, so.
I got something I'd like to say.
Oh,
Number one, I think you need to wish somebody a
happy birthday. Yes, my wife. It is her birthday today.
happy birthday.
And I
Miss Lynn.
always take the day for her birthday, and I did not take the day for her birthday today. So we're going to do it Friday.
Friday.
But I really apologize to my wife, and I thank her for her indulgence.
We all appreciate her understanding.
We do. We know who the
Appreciate her
real
so
boss
very
is.
much.
She's a wonderful, wonderful,
Yep.
wonderful lady.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
I got a couple other things real quick, just real fast. I just want to say thank you to the staff. I know we've worked a lot of weeks in a row, and you guys giving up your time and helping us out. We love the city, but we're residents. A lot of you guys aren't, but there's some that are. But we want to tell you thank you. Thank you for being here so late with us on a lot of times, and just the repetitive over and over throughout the last few weeks. I know you had to take away from your family, and it means a lot to me. Protection from the police department, they're always here. And the guys in the back that run the video, they never get any recognition. I just think that we need to recognize those guys. They go back there, Chris and his crew. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Without you guys, we'd have the camera in our face, and
Yeah.
we don't really want that. And then Miss Christine Lovin for all you do. Nobody really says the city secretary's name that much, but thank you for being the boss, and we appreciate all that you do as well. So. You bet. So anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to say. That, not more than thank yous, like Miss Kathy said, but I think that our staff is unbelievable. And we're blessed to have the money that we have, to be way ahead like we are, but we're super blessed to have the staff to put us right where we're at. And then this council, you guys are all good, so thank you so much.
Well, I think about this a lot. Every time we're really ramping events up, and the staff has to do all that work and set it up and do it and be there, and these guys are always there, and that really takes a lot of time away from family, but they're committed to all of this, and we really, really do appreciate it. I'm seriously about that, and because that's above and beyond. Above and
Absolutely.
beyond. You do a great job. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great city.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to adjourn unless somebody objects again.
No,
First time
I
I've
won't
had an
object this
objection
time.
on adjournment, notice.
I had to help you out.
He's trying to stretch it, right?
I had to help you out. You need to see. I thought you were going to start singing happy birthday, but I guess not.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? My colleague's hat. Come on, Terry, get it.
Yeah, before I have to track you down tomorrow or the next day.
Thank you.
Thanks for the
I didn't even
work
eat my
on it.
cookie. I'll save it for later now.